Historic Saratoga Racecourse on Whitney Day here in upstate New York. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. Our program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Saratoga, there is nothing like it. Welcome to those watching on FS1. I'm Greg Wolf, and coming up for you the next hour on the program, the middle jewel of this Turf Triple Series that was conceived back in 2019 here in this New York Racing Association circuit. The Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational. Top 6 finishers from the first leg of the Belmont Derby return. A couple of new faces as well, and we will have the biggest race there is in harness racing, 97th edition of the Hambletonian to come as well. Let's take a look at the field for this Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational. Grade 1, mile and 3/16 on the turf. Mentioned the top 6 all return. In that first leg, that was a shocker of what transpired. Classic Causeway, Dirt Horse, went to the Kentucky Derby, moved to the Kenny McPeak barn, and he decided, let's put him on the grass. He was able to go gate to wire to surprise just about everybody in that win. That will be the game plan again. I don't know if he's going to get the lead all to himself as we get a look at the walkover. Annapolis for Todd Pletcher. He has been very, very good with the exception of a boggy, soft turf course in which he got upset by an 80+1 shot at Penn National. Outside of that, he's been perfect. He'll be going beyond a mile and a 16th for the first time in his career. The meet's leading rider, Arad Ortiz Jr., will be back aboard. With me to talk through it, champion jockey Gary Stevens, one of the top trainers in the country in Tom Amoss. That was a big surprise, what happened in this first leg of this Turf Triple Series. Are we going to see a little more formfulness today?
I don't know. I think that Classic Causeway will improve off of that Belmont victory. Accordingly, he's improved in the morning. He's been training very forwardly, but not going to be an easy task for him today.
Meanwhile, Annapolis, Tom, for Todd Pletcher, we saw him in the walkover here. He's been very good at shorter distances. What do you think about a mile and 3/16 for him?
Well, it's an increase for Annapolis, but he's the new shooter in this race. Greg, you mentioned that 6 of the top 12 finishers in the Belmont Derby are in this race. There's actually 7 from the race that are in it. Annapolis, he rates behind horses, waits, and when he gets clear, he kicks home much the best. And this, again, is a one-turn race, and I think he's going to improve off of it. Ready to perform, the third-place finisher in this race. Came back to win our stake yesterday, the Hall of Fame. It flatters Annapolis' form.
Arad Ortiz Jr. will be aboard. And right now, 7-2 on the board for the Todd Pletcher trainee. Let's head to the paddock right now and check in with Acacia Clement.
It could be a very special 30 minutes or so for trainer Todd Pletcher coming off of that Whitney win as he sends out 3 in this Caesars Saratoga Derby. Greg, the longest shot is the 2 Grand Sonata, who did finish 4th in the Belmont Derby last time out. For me, the distance was a question. He showed that he could handle it game as they all were chasing Classic Causeway. Emmanuel wired the field in the Pennine Ridge last time out in his first start on turf. Todd Pletcher quoted as saying, though, that he doesn't think that he needs to wire the field and show that early speed. He thinks that he could potentially rate in this spot. Life is good, though. We just saw him absolutely impressive in that Grade 1 Whitney, getting a chance to watch from the winner's circle right next to the starting gate when they go the mile and an eighth. Seeing his gate speed and his athleticism, just astounding. Did come over a little bit on his stablemate, Happy Saver, but that one didn't seem to ever be in danger of passing him. Life is good. So impressive in that Whitney score, as Todd Pletcher's best chance on paper does seem to be Annapolis coming up in this Caesars Saratoga Derby. He won the Vanilla last time out, and Todd saying that he had considered running him in the Belmont Derby, opting to wait for this race instead. He is so much more fit and tucked up today. The son of Claiborne Stallion Warfront should appreciate the stretch out and distance and is coming into this in great form, as is his trainer, Todd Pletcher, Greg.
All right, Acacia, thank you. Just to wrap up on Life is Good and that Grade 1 Whitney win, want to get the guy's opinion here real quick. The goal, obviously, is a mile and a quarter in the Classic. What did you see today that makes you think, going forward, can he get that mile and a quarter?
I'm not so sure he can, but saying that this track has been very tiring here throughout the meet. We did have the rain earlier today. We'll see how the speed figure comes back, but I'm not sure he wants to go a whole lot further than the 1 1/8, but remember the Breeders' Cup is at Keeneland this year, and it's a very fair racetrack. They can make that track very fast under any kind of conditions, and he may enjoy a tighter track than what he raced on today.
We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, you know, for me, life is good. In the race today, as a trainer, transitioning a horse from a one-turn race with 7/8 to a two-turn race going a 1 1/8 is a really difficult task to do. I think Todd Pletcher did great.
Sorry, Tom. Get signed up, started, play along with NyraBets.com, Toga 200. Code to use at sign up, and bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Let's go to the paddock set for the first time. Check in with Jonathan Kinchin and Paula Duca.
I've had enough of this weather. It was hot, and then it rained, and then it got cool, and then it's hot again. But I tell you, life is good is pretty hot as well.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I want to give props to Happy Saver. He's never missed a board, and no one gives props to Happy Saver. He looked like he was going to roll up the rail for a little while, but good job there by Irad Ortiz Jr. to get Life is Good to go over to the stablemate. But the Pletcher runners won too. But to get to this race, do you agree with the other paddock set and Gary thinking that Classic Causeway could actually move forward out of this race? And I actually, the start of this race, did he win the race out of the gate, JK?
Well, you know, I think one of the things we forget about with Classic Causeway is that he was a talented racehorse on the dirt. I mean, I think he was an early kind of exciting Derby type of horse. He's fast. He won here first time out at a little bit of a price at Saratoga. He's had a ton of talent. When I dug a little bit deeper into this race, I know he made the lead and kind of wired him here, but he actually ran sneaky okay. I just don't think he's going to get a soft trip in here, so I'm not trusting he's going to be able to overcome adversity. But can he win? Sure. Wouldn't be shocked at all.
The thing that I love about this, you have 5 animals behind him. Not one of them is going to get to him. They could have went around again. You see any of those horses getting to him? No. So I hate when people keep on saying this was a fluke victory. None of those horses were going to get to Classic Causeway if they would have went around again. So if they leave him alone on the front end, which is probably not going to happen, you do have Emmanuel, the 3 that does have some speed. Is Annapolis going to stay right on his hip?
Well, that's what you get with a Todd Pletcher runner, right, is that he's going to be close. Annapolis, I would think, will be close enough, and that's the biggest concern. He'll stay lapped on if Classic Causeway makes the front, but, you know, I think we're in the paddock set, but there's probably someone that has something more important to say that's behind us in the paddock.
That would be me here, Jonathan, as we are in a very crowded paddock. It's end of the day, posted up here to the rail, but going to take a look at your current favorite. And as many people saw, Nation's Pride had the most taxing trip of anyone in that Belmont Derby. And he's a very agile horse, where I almost think that getting to the tighter turns here at Saratoga may even suit him more. That he's going to handle the tighter turns that much more easily than maybe some of his other bigger bodied foes in here. So I really like what I'm seeing from Nation's Pride. Once again, it just feels as though Charlie Appleby is a trainer who knows time and time again which horses to bring to America and how to get to them to perform. Now, Annapolis, we saw miss the Belmont Derby and partake in 2-mile races. But I do think with that pedigree and his physicality, he suggests that he should be able to stretch out to this 1 3/16. And 2, his disposition is that he's so laid back. He doesn't waste any energy prior to his starts. I think Annapolis, 3rd off the bench, could be very effective in this spot, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. We look forward to it. Middle leg of this Turf Triple Series. So we take a look at what's ahead in our program, presented by Claiborne Farm, Caesars Saratoga Derby, and then the Hambletonian 97th edition of Harness Racing's biggest race. Let's head to the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with Jessica Otten for a preview.
Thanks so much. It is the one we've been waiting for all year long. It's the $1 million 97th edition of the Hambletonian. We have a full field of 10, and like I mentioned earlier on the show, it's just something all the horsemen look forward to every year. They work for this. They peak their horses at the right time for this. Of course, last week we had 2 eliminations going for $100,000. The top 5 finishers advanced on into the final, and there's a couple of storylines in here. You have Rebuff from the rail, who is going on a 3 race win streak, me. He won his elimination last time out from post 8. He was able to float out of the gate there a little bit, get away fourth, and was moved aggressively to the front. I talked with trainer Lucas Wallen earlier. Educating young horses like this who are lightly raced is very important. Last year, didn't have much gate speed. This year, we've seen a little bit of gate speed. We've seen him come from off the pace. Now he gets the rail to work with. He's very confident in his colt coming into this race. And of course, we have the 2 fillies, Jiggy Jog, who won her elimination against Joviality, who everybody else was looking at in that race. And coming around that last turn last week, you know, she was absolutely loaded with trot, buried on the rail, shuffled back there a little bit. She got out in time to get up in time for her win in the Hambletonian elimination. Like I mentioned, Joviality is the one all eyes are on as well. I'm sure she'll be co-favorited in there for Marcus Melander and Brian Sears from post 2. She finished third, finally gets post relief. She's been racing from the outside of the gate, so it's going to be a great race, and we're so happy you guys are tuned in with us. Back to you, Greg.
Jessica, thank you. We can't wait. Going to be a tremendous edition of this Hambletonian. Those 2 fillies, Joviality, Jiggy Jog. We will see. Fillies have won 2 of the last 4 runnings. Up next, though, here at Saratoga, Joel Rosario. He has been the dominant rider with big races on the line at this meet. It's incredible what he's accomplished to this point. 10 graded stakes wins so far. Can he add another on Royal Patronage at a big price? Stay with us.
History remembers moments of extraordinary strength, skill, and determination. True greatness is forged by those who fulfill their destiny.
We are back on our FS1 coverage of Saratoga Live here in upstate New York. Our program brought to you in part by legendary Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Grade 1 coming up this Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational. We had some big Grade 1 action previously before we came on our FS1 coverage. 3-year-old fillies, one of the most important races there is in that division. Grade 1 test. Huge odds on favorite Monterey. She gets beat.
Yeah, she was struggling throughout the race, came under pressure early on, and that's Hot Pepper's on the lead right there, holding their own, and down the middle of the track, here comes Chi-Town Lady, Tom.
Yeah, it's 3 of them to the wire, right? You got Hot Peppers on the inside, Monterey, the big favorite, right alongside of her. Here comes Chi-Town Lady. She's going to hit Monterey so hard it throws her off stride and she goes to a different lead. She goes to an inside lead. And the stewards looked at this, and I think there are 2 very fair questions to ask about this. Number 1, was contact made? Look, the contact was so hard that she switched leads, Gary. And the second question is, did it cost her a placing? I don't think she would have beaten Chi-Town Lady, who won the race on the outside, but certainly as her and Hot Peppers were dueling for second, it certainly could have cost her second. I think those are fair questions to ask in this situation.
Well, I saw it a different way, Tom. I saw the 6 Hot Peppers drifting out every bit as much as Chi-Town Lady was coming in. Joelle had Chi-Town Lady's head cocked out, trying to keep her straight. So it was this combination of things. I do not think that Matarea was going to get the money today, but it would have been close between Hot Peppers and Matarea for the second place finish.
Joel Rosario aboard for that Grade 1 win. What an incredible first half of this Saratoga meet, the most competitive meet in the country. He now has 10 graded stakes wins already.
Out of how many graded stakes?
19.
That's
so
more
what's
than
that
half.
Percentage?
You've done your math, you've done your homework, Tom. Nothing gets by Tom Amos. Whitney Stakes. This was Life is Good. We showed you a little bit of it earlier in the program, and so fast early. What about this ride from Murat Ortiz Jr.? What happens here coming up, Gary?
Well, I didn't think that it was needed. He looks over, sees Happy Saver and Johnny Velasquez. He was clear, obviously, but Johnny didn't want to be down on the inside. He saw him coming over. He's had enough kickback, and he moved out, kind of had to jump his heels, but he was clear when he did it, but I didn't think it was a move that needed to be done. He was on the best horse today. He was never in any danger. It was something that wasn't needed.
They call Dale Earnhardt in NASCAR racing the Intimidator. Irad Ortiz, and I say this with all due respect, is a very intimidating rider. It's his track, and he's allowed to do those kind of things. And as long as they allow him to do those kind of things, he's going to be an intimidating kind of rider, and it serves him well.
He does everything he can to creep up to that line. Sometimes he goes a little bit over. That victory was upheld. As Gary said, he was clear. Still, maybe did not need to do it. Late pick 5 follow along. Final 2 legs coming up. We had a $36 winner. That was Joel Rosario. We showed you on Chi-Town Lady, beating a huge odds-on favorite in Monterey. And this seemed, going into the sequence, like potentially it was the most wide-open race of the pick 5.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And like you said, we've got 7 horses that are coming out of the same race at Belmont in the Belmont Derby, and we've got 4 new prospects here. The most intriguing, of course, is Annapolis, who just won a 1-turn turf race. And by the way he ran, how well he relaxed, sitting in the pocket, waiting for room, and then exploding home, he should love this transition to 2 turns off his last race.
2 of the best trainers in the world, to Charlie Appleby, the great Aidan O'Brien. Nation's Pride, the 4, who's now the favorite, in Stone Age for O'Brien. They were drawn all the way outside. They had wide trips. Could today be a much different story for them?
Well, one thing about it, Nation's Pride, he's favored right now, but his regular rider, William Buick, is back aboard today, replacing Frankie Dettori, who rode him well last time.
Kick off our post-parade for the Caesar Saratoga Derby with main event. Big long shot for George Weaver.
Yeah, this one for Jose Ortiz in the irons. Comes out of the Kent, where he wired a field at Delaware Park.
Todd Pletcher with Grand Sonata as well, was 4th in the Belmont Derby.
I've seen worse 27-1 shots. I don't think this horse is a horse I'd love to bet on, but I wouldn't talk anyone off.
His stablemate, Emmanuel, he's quick.
Yeah, if he gets across the wire, you will be singing Emmanuel.
Runner-up in the Belmont Derby. Here's Nation's Pride, Charlie Appleby.
When a horse wires, like Classic Causeway did at a big price, you start looking for horses that were closing into that situation. Nation's Pride is one of them, and probably the best of the few.
Yet another Todd Pletcher runner, son of War from Annapolis.
My man Tom Amos is fired up about Annapolis. It's almost like he loves the horse.
Might have a wager.
Royal Patronage. Can Joel Rosario do it again?
I mean, can you leave this guy off the ticket? He comes from off the pace. He goes to the front and at your own peril. I mean, Graham Motion's barn's been going hot, and I think the 8's got a look too, JK.
Yeah, Graham Motion with Side Dog as well. Classic Causeway, he won the first leg of this Turf Triple Series.
Listen, I thought he was dynamic. I really think he was. 5-1's a little surprising. I think people are going right back in.
Stone Age, Aiden O'Brien was third in that Belmont Derby. And here's the 11 Ethereal Road dirt horse who was being pointed for a bit to the Derby, wound up not going there. He's got turf pedigree.
Bottom side.
We'll talk more about it when we come back. That blanket awaiting the winner of the Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational. We'll have it for you live when we come back.
The best.
Some of the top horses in the sport are born and raised in Pennsylvania.
It's really the world capital of standardbred breeding. Breeders from other states locate in Pennsylvania.
It's not a hard sell. I mean, we have a whole mess of clients that send us horses to take advantage of the program. The racing opportunities have been, continue to be, and into the future are very strong here. This is where the top stallions are. A lot of the top mares are here in Pennsylvania. It's perfect.
DeMarchelier offers breeders a rare opportunity as the only son of Dubois standing in Kentucky. Dubois, one of the world's most celebrated stallions, is now a sire of sires. His top sons at stud are making a name for themselves across the globe. With a picture-perfect pedigree, this son of Dubois brings one of the world's most potent bloodlines to America. DeMarchelier, standing at Claiborne Farm.
My racehorse has had obviously tremendous success. Authentic being the first one to take us and winning the Derby in our first try, which doesn't get better than that.
Authentic has won the Kentucky Derby.
I will tell you that there's nothing like watching a horse that you own turn for home and come down the stretch with a shot to win.
The opportunity is here to get a part of this wonderful sport.
We're really big fans of my racehorse.
We are back on Saratoga Live here on FS1 with the Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational Grade 1. Just 2 minutes to post. Top 6 coming back from that Belmont Derby back on July 9th. Let's go to Acacia for more.
It's already been a big day for trainer Todd Pletcher, who joins me now. Todd, you're sending out 3 in this upcoming Caesars Saratoga Derby. Let's start with Annapolis. Coming off of that win, talk to me about stretching out in distance. Looks like you'll handle it.
It seems like it, and that's why we wanted the additional prep race for this. We had 2 good mile races under his belt, and he finished both well. He's been training like he'll stretch out.
Emmanuel used speed last time. You said you thought that he could potentially rate if needed.
I think so. I think there's a little more pace in today's race than there was in the Pennine Ridge. So I just told Flavian to, let him be comfortable wherever he is. If he inherits an easy lead, we'd certainly take it, but we're not going to force the issue.
And we just saw Life is Good, tremendous in that Grade 1 Whitney. His gate speed, his brilliance, just unbelievable.
His first step was awesome today. He really, almost caught a flyer, and turning up the backside, he just kind of took off with Irad a bit, kind of spread the race at that point. And it's hard because he's you got to go with him, and if you try to go with him, it's hard to stay with him. So it's a great asset to have.
Todd, congratulations and best of luck here.
Thank you.
Todd Pletcher sending out 3 as we head trackside check-in with Maggie Wolfendale, horseback.
Check. And checking in with one of Todd's horses, Emmanuel. I know Todd just said that he doesn't need the lead, but Flavian Pratt did give him a very aggressive warm-up, more so than many of the other horses in here, but not such an aggressive warm-up from the speed setter from the Belmont Derby in number 9, Classic Causeway. But he is just that fast horse. He was a little more rambunctious and energetic in the paddock relative to what I saw from him back at Belmont. And then talk about rambunctious. That was number 10, Stone Age in here. He was forward last time, but he is bubbled over the surface just a bit here. He's been a handful for John Velasquez, but you want to talk about a good mover? That's Stone Age, as he is absolutely floating over this racetrack. Greg?
Maggie, thank you. Stone Age for the great Aiden O'Brien, the 10. Came from the clouds last start. He was drawn all the way on the outside. He's drawn outside again as we see Charlie Appleby's Nation's Pride moving into the gate. He is the favorite hoping for a much better trip and should get that with where he's drawn today, the world-class rider, William Buick. Back to ride him. Middle Jewel, this Turf Triple Series, the Grade 1. Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational. We go upstairs to John Imbrial for the call.
And they're off. An awkward beginning there for number 7, Royal Patronage, and he's towards the back of the pack. Up front, it is Classic Causeway, who will take the field past the stands here. Classic Causeway is in front with Main Event tracking in second. And then it is Nation's Pride next in third, followed by Emmanuel in fourth. And to his outside is Stone Age as the field goes into the clubhouse turn. Annapolis is racing in sixth. Royal Patronage is next in seventh. And then on the outside, it is Side Dog in eighth, followed by Grand Sonata. And trailing the field is Ethereal Road in 10th. As the field heads for the backstretch, and on top is Classic Causeway. Classic Causeway is the leader here by a length and a half, with Big Long Shot Main Event racing in second. Nation's Pride down on the inside in third. Emmanuel's in between horses. Stone Age in the clear on the outside. Break up 2 to Annapolis, and then it's another 6 lengths back to the rest of the field. Royal Patronage, who is followed next by Side Dog, then a Grand Sonata and Ethereal Road. It is still Classic Causeway showing the way here. Classic Causeway by a little more than a length. Main Event runs in second as they go around the far turn. It is still Classic Causeway, now clear by 2 lengths. And Nation's Pride has now picked it up and moved into second. On the far outside is Stone Age racing in third. Annapolis down towards the inside as the field comes off the turn and enters the stretch. And it is Classic Causeway. And on the outside, Nation's Pride, who is all out. Annapolis is now kicking in as they come down for the 8th pole. Here is Nation's Pride up to take the lead from Classic Causeway. Annapolis is third. They're coming on for the finish, and it will be the Irish bred Nation's Pride to win the $1 million Grade 1 Caesars Saratoga Derby.
Classic Causeway trying to do it again on the front end. This time, Nation's Pride for Charlie Appleby with William Buick runs him down.
Yeah, terrific rides from William Buick. He set much closer today to the pacemaker, Classic Causeway. Classic Causeway was game, but William Buick, he started around the turn, winding this horse up. This ground's got a little cut in it from all the rain that we had earlier today, but he's just covering more ground right now. The Classic Causeway and Annapolis ran a huge race to get up.
Yeah, you know, for the winner, Nation's Pride, Gary, just like you said, he laid a lot closer today, put himself right off of Classic Causeway, who was setting the pace. That extra yardage in today's race from the Belmont Derby last race, I think it took its toll on Classic Causeway and was a benefit for Nation's Pride.
Well, Classic Causeway trying to do it again. Were you guys surprised nobody went with him early?
Quick leaving the gate. I mean, he's just got good gate speed, naturally quick. Not as quick. His life is good from the starting gates, but much quicker than most turf horses are leaving there. And then he relaxed. He rated well. He ran a good race to finish third.
I was surprised. I mean, I thought both the 1 Main Event and especially the 3 Emmanuel, they've been showing speed in all their starts. He made the lead unopposed. And, you know, the time was wrong on the board. They obviously didn't go the opening quarter in 29 seconds, but they must have gone pretty quick because that field was very spread out.
Nation's Pride, Charlie Appleby made such an impression last year with his fillies in big moments on the turf. Winning the Diana, winning the Just a Game, and now with a big statement here as well. Nation's Pride winning the Saratoga Derby. Let's go to Maggie on horseback.
Here with William Buick. And William, you've won on this horse twice before. They've shipped you in to take this Saratoga Derby. William, you kept him closer than what we saw back at Belmont. Was that the key to success today?
I think it was, but it was last time at Belmont, you know, he was drawn 10, so it was very difficult that day for him to get across. And today he was a bit slow again, but the speed was on the inside, and I managed just to get in and follow the speed. And you know, I thought halfway the pace was just nice and even, if that, you know. So he had a good trip, and he's a horse who stays well. And he was in front quite a long way, but he kept going all the way to the line, you know.
He stays. He's small, handy, but has that stamina. And William, we see you come to America quite a bit and have a lot of success. And you're one of those jockeys that can. You're very adaptable. How much studying do you do of American racing?
Yeah, I try to do as much as I can. You know, I would watch American racing on a regular basis anyway, so it's very important. You know, I'm in a very privileged position to be able to travel and ride all these good horses. So, you know, I try and put as much work in as I can, and it doesn't always work out, but today it did.
You rode him beautifully. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
William Buick, a winning rider here today, taking down this Saratoga Derby as we check in with Paul and JK.
Thanks, Maggie. Look, Paulie, this exacta to me was about two great rides. We'll start with the 4, the winner, Nation's Pride, what you saw from the gate.
Well, I mean, you just saw a world-class rider in William Buick. I mean, it's just the bottom line. And Irad followed him. Now, pay attention to the 4. Okay, in Nation's Pride. Watch William. He does not break great, but he keeps on pushing forward with the 4 to get his position. So look at him. He's going. He's encouraging his horse, and now he's got his position. He did not give up right out of the gate, and he gets his position. And then you make the point, look at Irad drop, and he starts following William.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you bet on the 4 or the 6, you really have 0 complaints in this race. I thought Irad's trip was perfect. He just wasn't quite good enough in the situation, I think, to get past the 4 in here, Nation's Pride. But they both, you know, 2 top-class riders getting great trips and big races. This is why the riders matter so much. It doesn't matter in every race, right? You know, life is good. Cotter probably would have won on anybody.
I'm with you.
But in here, it matters. It mattered in this race. William Buick, what a beautiful, beautiful trip.
World-class rider, world-class connections all around. Charlie Appleby and Buick team up for this victory here with a 3-year-old who is now 3 for 6 on the turf. Just missed in that Belmont Derby, and no doubt who was best in this spot with that performance. Annapolis Classic Causeway wind up 2nd and 3rd. We'll have these prices to come. 97th edition of the Hambletonian. Harness Racing's biggest race is coming up next as I welcome in Anthony Stabile. And Anthony, Rebuff has the inside post. He brings in a 6-race win streak. Also, this story about these 2 fillies who have been sensational as well lining up.
Yeah, Jiggy jogged the number 5, won one of the eliminations. And then, of course, you have Joviality, who gets a ton of post relief this evening, Greg. Going to go from a couple of 7 holes, 2 and 3 back, and a 10-hole last time out in Hurry Limb to the 2 position tonight. I would imagine that Brian Sears will put the pedal to the metal to get around Rebuff and try and establish the early lead. That's what I would be doing. And there doesn't seem to be a ton of other early speed in here. We saw the filly earlier from the outside draw get the job done in the Oaks, and I would imagine that Brian Sears is going to take a page out of Tim Tetrick's book out on Fashion Schooner earlier today and just try and bottom this field out. Here's Rebuff getting the job done pretty easily last week. Now, the Easy Limbs both went in 152 and 2, so it's kind of hard to compare the times. What you can compare is just how easily Rebuff did this from the 8-hole last week. He was on the lead by the time they made their way down the backside over at the Big M, and he was able to just maintain. I'm not even going to say improve his position. All he had to do was maintain. It's exactly what he did. He got a good drive from Timmy Tetrick, who's looking to scoop the Oaks and the Hambo on this Saturday at the Big M.
Rebuff, the 4-5 favorite. We're going to go live to Jessica Auden and Gabe Pruitt in this trackside report presented by Standardbred Breeders Association of Pennsylvania.
Thanks so much. Yes, of course, the 97th edition of the Hambletonian is up next, and there's a few horses we want to take a look at. Of course, the favorite, Rebuff. But let's start with King of the North. Very good in his elimination. Mark didn't get those plugs pulled until after the wire. Ray Schnicker said, I won the Meadowlands Pace out of the A-hole. Why can't I win the Hambletonian out of the A-hole? And hey, he's got a couple of thoroughbred connections as well.
Yeah, I know, Jess, we've got plenty of thoroughbred people tuning in here with Harness Racing's biggest race today, the Hambletonian. Wesley Ward, who's already had a big day at Saratoga, winning a stakes. He's a co-owner of the A King of the North, so Wesley's in here 20-1 on the board. We'll see. You know, I think Mark's going to be aggressive from post 8.
And, of course, we have the 2 fillies, Joviality from post 2. You talked to Marcus and the owner earlier today. She just got outfooted at the wire last time. time out, she had post 10. She was used hard off of the gate. She gets lots of post relief tonight. She's on the board at 4-1.
Yeah, and if you're a hunch player, Jess, we already saw an odds-on favorite that was defeated in her elimination. Post 10 come back and win earlier in the Hambletonian Oaks. Well, Joviality had post 10. She was an odds-on favorite. We'll see if she can bounce back. The connections earlier eluded that they're going to try and race Joviality off the pace today.
And, of course, the other filly in here as well is Jiggy Jog. She had to literally grow wings and get out of the spot she was in her elimination. She trotted home super strongly. Her connections are confident going into the race. What did you think of her elimination?
Very good, and they actually pulled the shoes on her last week to lighten her up a little bit. You can't get away with that every week, Jess, but I do see they pulled the shoes on Jiggy Jog again today, heading into the big dance.
I see Cheetrick on the big board right now, scoring down Rebuff aggressively. He's just been so consistent this year, obviously 3 for 3. He's a very versatile colt. What did you make of him?
You know, he's coming into this race fresh, Jess. A lot of these have fought many battles over the course of the summer. He's so good. I think Rebuff clearly the horse to beat. 4-5, that's no surprise.
Cheetrick is looking to sweep the Hambletonian Oaks and the Hambletonian with the favorite 4-5 Rebuff. We'll send it back to you, Greg.
Jessica, Gabe, thank you very much. Back here at Saratoga. Godolphin Blue in the winner's circle, trained by Charlie Appleby. Ridden to victory by William Buick. Nation's Pride, third win on grass after just missing. And that Belmont Derby, this was impressive. And returned $6.20 for the win. Let's go to Acacia for more.
So happy to be joined by trainer Charlie Appleby. Nation's Pride, impressive in here, and having his regular pilot William Buick aboard today. They just really seem to fit together so well, Charlie.
Yeah, look, William knows the horse obviously very well. But we were confident coming into today that I felt that the horse had done very well from Belmont down to here. The team had done a fantastic job. It was a physical, I think he's done well, and the key thing today was obviously just trying to get him to jump quicker from the gates, which we were a bit slow from the gates there at Belmont on the last start there. But Will, he's a little bit sluggish still, but Will gave him a great ride. He got down on that fence, and thankfully the pace held up on the front end as well. So it's great for the team here.
We saw he's accompanied by the pony leading up to the race, not typical of what we in America would see with Europeans usually coming over. Talk about keeping this horse settled.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like I say, he's been lucky. He's been out in America now for just over 5 weeks now, so he's sort of adapting to their style of training and exercising. So, everything helps, as they say.
We've seen you really put on a clinic of bringing horses here to these grade ones in the U.S. What is it about Nation's Pride that gave you the confidence to try him in this spot?
But after he won at Newmarket, obviously he won in Dubai there, so we just knew that the tracks suit him. Slick tracks, level tracks there. He won at Newmarket on the quick ground, and then we ran him in, as you know, in the English Derby there. He didn't stay on slow ground, and so it was always our target was to come here. He's a good moving son of Teofilio there, and we were confident that he would adapt to the style of racing here.
He was a thrill to watch today. Congratulations, Charlie.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Charlie Appleby here with Godolphin and Nation's Pride, and once again picking up those grade 1 victories, Greg.
Has a knack for it. British flat racing champion trainer from last year. Picks up another big one here stateside as we return to East Rutherford, New Jersey. And the Meadowlands with harness racing's biggest race here coming up. And Anthony, we're looking at one of the fillies in here, Joviality. You mentioned the much better post position today. So you expect for her to assert herself on the front end?
I think the post is going to carry the day for Joviality today. I like her a lot. I can't believe she's 4-1. Yeah, I would imagine that Brian Sears is just going to put the pedal to the metal early, get around Rebuff. I don't know how much other early pressure he figures to face in here with this daughter of Chapter 7. Just let her roll on the front end. That's what I would do. Rebuff's going to be very tough, obviously, especially if the race lines up 2-1, which it figures to line up Joviality and Rebuff. Rebuff's going to be in the pocket the entire way. We'll see how the out of flow develops. I would imagine Jiggy Jog at some point is going to have to come first up with Dexter Dunn. She's 5-1 on the board right now. See if she can pull a horse like King of the North, who, with the thoroughbred connections, always rooting for Wesley Ward. He already has the grade 1 win here in the Longines test. That would be a pretty neat double, a little crossbreed double. Yeah, I could see King of the North at a price getting a piece. If you're playing exotics, if you're playing exactas and tries, I can imagine King of the North getting towed into this by a horse like Jiggy Jog and maybe working out some sort of a trip. But she's a gigantic price. We saw big balloons across the board in the Oaks. Why not get a big price on the board here in the Hambo?
King of the North, the 8 at 24-1 for Ray Schnitker. Back to Rebuff. His driver, Tim Tetrick, he says when this horse makes the front end. It's a little bit deceiving sometimes because he starts to goof off, and there he is. Kind of waits for company, but he says, trust me, he's not done. He's not even close to being done. He has a big finish.
Yeah, that's what he looked like last week, Greg. It looked like he was almost waiting on horses. It's a little different in the eliminations as opposed to the final, especially when I would imagine Joviality's not going to just cough it up to him readily. I would imagine that Joviality's going to bring her A game today, and with that big post relief, I could see her posting the mile upset here at 4-1.
Here's Rebuff, the 3-5 favorite, 97th edition of the premier event for 3-year-old trotters, the Hambletonian. Let's go to Ken Workington.
Rebuff, elimination winner, 3-5. Jiggy Jog, elimination winner, Dexter Dunn's Choice over Fast as the Wind at 5-1, 7-2 on 2. Joviality now 3-5 on 1. Rebuff. Field lined up for race 15, the 97th Hambletonian for $1 million. Here they come. Three-year-olds are up and trotting in the Hambletonian. Looks like money trying to blast off on the far outside. There goes Jiggy Jog with early speed. The filly Joviality from the inside with Fast as the Wind. It's Joviality, Fast as the Wind to Rebuff. The favorite cuts the corner now second. And Fast as the Wind third, and swooping down Temporo. Hanover goes up to challenge for the lead as they head to the opening quarter. Then it's Jiggy Jog fifth on the outside and gaining, tracked by King of the North looking to go up there. Keg Stand is wedged in early, followed by Cool Papa Bell and Looks Like Money. And the early trailer is Periculum. First quarter was pretty soft. 28 for Joviality, the filly, and Bride Sears setting up shop here at 5-2, leading it by 2.5. And going after her now, here comes the favorite, Rebuff. Rebuff gets the cue from Tim Tetrick, and that one dashes up and takes over from Joviality. Temporal Hanover now back to third. Fast as the Wind on the inside is fourth. Fast as the Wind now in a two-path. Off stride goes Keg Stand, and he's off the course. King of the North gets underway fifth on the outside, tracked by Jiggy Jog. And then it's Looks Like Money, stride for stride there with Cool Papa Bell, then Periculum, and Keg Stand, the breaker, and also rough-gated King of the North. The half was 55 and 3. The midway on the final turn. Rebuff is the target. It's Rebuff. Temporal Hanover on the outside coming at him. Joviality locked in the box third. Fast as the Wind gapped the cover fourth. Cool Papa Bell needs racing room. Jiggy Jog comes three wide, and they turn home. 124. They're in the stretch of the Hambletonian. Rebuff trying to hold them off. Temporal Hanover on the outside pours it on. Here is Cool Papa Bell. Joviality on the inside, and Jiggy Jog in a wild finish here. Temporal Hanover. Cool Papa Bell. Joviality on the inside. Cool Papa Bell at 50-1. Cool Papa Bell. Then Joviality. Then Temporal Hanover and Jiggy Jog. Cool Papa Bell and the Hot Toddy in 151 and 3. A Hambletonian shocker.
Shocker indeed at 50-1. Cool Papa Bell for trainer Jen Campbell, driven by Todd McCarthy, Anthony.
Yeah, Todd McCarthy with a sensational drive here, 50-1. A bunch of jumpers. Keg Stand goes off stride. King of the North goes off stride. They walked the dog on the front end. Brian Sears got away with a 28-second opening quarter, just allowed Rebuff to go. Boy, Rebuff, no shows, no excuse for Rebuff this afternoon. Thought Joviality had it won, and here comes Todd McCarthy, the other Chapter 7 in the race, the gelded son of Chapter 7 down the center. The winner of the Hambo, Greg, about to pay $100 plus.
Unreal result, and Rebuff just no response in the stretch. That 6-race winning streak, perfect 3-year-old campaign, coming to an end at the hands of Cool Papa Bell at 50-1 in here, who would come in just 3 for 7 in his 3-year-old campaign. We're going to take a timeout. We'll return with the Nightcap from Saratoga on our Whitney Saturday card right after this on FS1.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program was created in 2018 by Wanda Policini. Purple Haze provides training to transition into new careers and finding homes. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before going on. Horses at Purple Haze are evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, please contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program.
What I like about this colt is his size and scope. You know, he's got a beautiful long neck with a deep girth. One of the best moving horses on the farm, just unhinged through his shoulder, pushes off with his hip with strength, and really reaches with his front end when he walks. This is one of the best horses I've seen this year.
Set your sights on this high-caliber colt by Gunrunner. Hip number 202, selling August 9th at the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga sale with Gainesway Agent.
We are back on our FS1 coverage of Saratoga Live at historic Saratoga Racecourse. Nightcap on Whitney Day still to come. You can play all the action all summer long and beyond by getting signed up with Naira Bets. That's the offer, $200 deposit match sign-up bonus. With that code right there, TOGA200. And bet any track, anywhere, anytime at NairaBets.com. Take a look at the late pick 5. We had a huge upset in the test with Monterey being beat. Chi-Town Lady, $36 winner, and that alone is making this late pick 5, these returns, outstanding. With everything else pretty formful here. Let's head to our paddock set to JK and Paulie.
Yeah, look, it's going to wrap it up here with a nice little maiden special weight, which I appreciate as a horse player. I tell you what, the maiden 40s we end with sometimes, and these sequences are so tough. So I appreciate having this opportunity. I guess we should probably start with the 2-year mission here for Todd Pletcher, the man of the hour. Has it been within the hour that he won with Life is Good in the Whitney?
The thing about Todd, not only does he win on these big days, he's the best dressed. So he just buries you on both. But your mission last time, good second place finish, was at this meet on July 15th. Got Lasix for the first time, second time blinkers. A decent effort, puts this horse definitely in the mix. I don't know about 3-1, but this is a wide open betting race.
Yeah, one of the this horse, the 2, is that he worked last time with Chocolate Gelato. Chocolate Gelato, and worked on the dirt. Chocolate Gelato is a dirt horse, and this is a turf horse, and your mission worked well with him on the dirt. It shows me a sign that maybe this horse is stepping into a big race.
Yeah, I could see it happening. Looks well in the paddock. We'll go to the ladies down there to tell us how they're looking. The 4 Action Jackson is taking a ton of money. Blinkers are coming off. Goes from Safi Joseph to Jorge Abreu, who's gotten a little bit hot here of late.
Yeah, look, and Jorge on the turf, we talk about it all the time. A couple years back, it was a trivia question. Chad Brown obviously had the most turf wins at the meet, but who was second? It was Jorge Abreu, who, ironically enough, used to work for Chad Brown. So when there's a turf race and Jorge's in there, I treat that kind of like a Chad Brown mini type of runner.
Okay, speaking of Chad Brown, the 7, Tyler Gaffleone, son of Nyquist, going on the turf for the first time, a debuter at 11-1.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit chilly on the board. When Chad's got a firster like this, it's a little bit chilly. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a great sign, but I will tell you that I'm always excited to see the silks that Tyler Gaffalione has on. He's about to get a leg up with those E5 silks, good magic, rushing fall, so on and so forth. I always like to see those silks.
And Greg, let's don't forget about Biondi, the James Bond 007. He's been firing.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that one in a moment. Leg up to Tyler Gaffalione, and he's part of that family now, E5 Racing, and that's why you see him riding here for Chad Brown on a first-time starter. Wow, I mean, Chad Brown, anytime you're in a turf race in New York, to see double-digit odds, it's surprising.
Yeah, I think this is one where you really need to kind of watch the toe board on. Never run before, debuting today, going 2 turns on the grass. Nyquist, a very good sire. That's his father in this race, but more of a sire for the dirt than the grass.
See, the late pick 5 Will Pace favorite right now is the 2. That's Your Mission, and it's coming back over $2,600 in the pick 5 to your current favorite in this race because of that one horse, Chi-Town Lady.
That's remarkable. There were so many potential singles that ended up hitting in the pick 5, from Pletcher's second-time starter winning the Alien Allowance race. The winner of our Whitney. I mean, just remarkable.
You knew, I mean, especially with the reputation of this racetrack, there would be at least one race where some chaos happened.
Right.
I did not think it would be Monterreya's race.
Well, I didn't think it would be the outside horse, that's for sure.
Post parade coming up here in just a moment. Call to post for our finale. We're going to begin here in just a moment with the remaining half of the entry. Charlie Baker trains. Burt. Dylan Davis will ride, and it's going to break second to the outside.
Yeah, stretching out for the first time. Second off the layoff for Charlton Baker and Dylan Davis. He hits at 23%, second off.
Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher with Your Mission, the current favorite, meets leading rider aboard.
Yeah, this last race for Your Mission on the turf and also at Saratoga was a really good one. The pace was slow. It was a good finish against the pace.
One turf start for Curlin's Wisdom was not bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all, and the horse wouldn't be a huge surprise at 9-1.
Action Jackson, blinkers off.
Blinkers off, big layoff since November. Only had the blinkers one time. It didn't work well, so they come off.
Bill Mott, Jr. Alvarado with Sir John.
Hadn't run since October 23rd of last year. Gets Lasix and gelding for the first time.
Excursioniste has hit the board at this level.
He has, but he's had 10 tries to break his maiden. This will be number 11.
Here's Chad Brown of those E5 Silks. Walk them down.
Yeah, 6-1 on the morning line. Dead on the board for Chad Brown at 11-1.
Dream Point has Joel Rosario.
Yeah, 17 tries to break the maiden, hadn't gotten it done.
But you get Joel.
Yeah, good point.
5-1 right now. Biondi, the one Paulie was talking about. So Jimmy Bonbarn having a tremendous meet right now.
Yeah, it gets Luis Saez and going to be the speed here. Going to try and take him gate to wire.
Yeah, winning at 31%. James Bond and his main man, Saez aboard, leading rider at the meet here last year. Conquest, not a little intriguing on the outside. His only turf start, not bad last start for John Kimmel.
Not bad. He showed speed in that start from this outside post. I think he almost has to do the same thing, try to save some ground.
2 minutes to post in our finale. Back to the Meadowlands and a $106 winner in the Hambletonian Cool Papa Bell. Let's go back to Jessica and Gabe.
Thanks so much. I'm joined by winning trainer and driver. We'll start with you, Jim. Not a bad day. You swept the Hambletonian Oaks in the Hambletonian. It has to be a pretty good feeling, doesn't it?
It's an unbelievable feeling to be able to do something like that. It's very emotional, but before I say anything else, I have to give my crew a big shout out because they've worked their butts off all year. It's not just in the last week or two. They've really have done a great job, and they've worked together very well, and I thank them because without them, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you.
Absolutely. Tell us what you were feeling coming off the top of the stretch.
Well, I was watching when Todd was kind of, he had sneaking up there, and I thought he had some trot. And then when I saw him angle him out, I said, well, we got a shot. But then I wasn't sure till getting down close to the wire whether he was going to get there in time. But, Todd he drove an absolute perfect race for the way it's set up for him, used his head, everything worked out good. And it's just one of them days that everything worked out good. And I want to say hi to my wife. she wasn't able to come today, and she's my biggest fan. And my dad and my mother-in-law, Graham, who we call her, they're watching from heaven, and they loved this race as much as anybody else. And my mother in Canada was watching too. And I had so many, my nieces and nephew were watching, and it's just such a good feeling. It's very emotional. Like, to do this, it's unbelievable feeling.
Well, we congratulate you. We'll bring in Todd McCarthy. Not a bad pickup in the Hambletonian. You've won $2 million races this year. How are you feeling?
It's so surreal for me, Jess. I'm still trying to come to terms with it. I can't thank Jim and the connections of this horse enough. You know, I've never been behind him before, and to give me an opportunity like this in a $1 million race is just unbelievable. So I'm just so thankful that it worked out for us and we got the job done.
Well, congratulations. Go enjoy that. Back to you guys.
Jessica, thank you. Big moment and the biggest payout in Hambletonian history. Cool Papa Bell. Back to our nightcap coming up here at Saratoga. Let's go to Acacia.
Greg, no problems with your favorite here, Your Mission. He has actually taken a step forward, but as Paul had pointed out, Action Jackson, the 4, is taking a lot of attention now in the barn of Jorge Abreu. When he was with Saffie Joseph Jr. previously, he was mentally, I think, a horse that maybe struggled a bit. He was really energetic, all over the place in his pre-race antics, and he is so much more focused, so much more settled now. Flavien Prat took him away from the pony, gave him a big warm-up. He suits these conditions really well, and I think the money that he's taking is noteworthy. Love how he's moving out there on the track and fit off of the layoff in his first start as a 4-year-old, Greg.
Acacia, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Jorge Abreu does such a good job on this circuit, and you can't ignore the money here. At 4-1, you get Flavien Prat as well, Gary.
Yeah, and Flavien having a decent meet here. This meet has been so tough for everybody, but he's having a good meet.
You know, a lot of times a horse making that transition from one season to the next in age and having the time to develop and get physically stronger, they can be different horse. And so the money showing here has got to be about how this horse is training and how he's working over the turf course right here at Oklahoma.
Guys, paddock side, you look at that board. What intrigues you?
You know, look, the price on the 2 is not intriguing. I think the horse is interesting, but not at that short price. You know, I thought the 8 Dream Point was a little bit interesting towards the outside. I'm not cutting in line to bet Gary Siaka's horses. He's only 1 for 13 at the meet, but this horse has had some nice speed figures, does come from out of it, will need a little bit of pace to close into. But I think that, you know, there is something there at 5-1.
And my horse would be the 6 at 21-1. I have a feeling this horse, with the blinkers on, has shown a little bit more speed from the 11-hole cutout. Unbelievable fractions. The 6 is getting dismissed at the window. So at 21-1, I would throw that longest shot on the board. I would throw that horse in your supers, Gregor.
Big number. Yeah, you can make money even if Your Mission wins this one with horses like that underneath, no question. There's Sir John.
I like that horse. That's one that's coming off a layoff since last year that's developed into a stronger horse. Gelded, getting Lasix for the first time. Bill Mott does a great job off the bench with his horses.
Yeah, a lot of changes, but patient trainer who they get better in his barn. And he's been having a great meet as well, the Hall of Famer. Chad Brown, you see those E5 Silks? Still at 11-1 with that first-time starter walk him down. But the favorite from that inside post, Your Mission, it's the Nightcap on Whitney Day from Saratoga. Let's go to John Embrial.
We are set for race 12. And they're off. Curlin's Wisdom going out for the early lead. Sir John came away racing in second. Then it's Excursioniste. On the far outside, Conquest now moves up along with Biondi. It is Conquest looking to get that lead from the outside post position. Conquest has the lead going into the turn. And then it is Sir John along with Curlin's Wisdom. They're heads apart, second and third. Excursioniste is next in fourth. And then Action Jackson runs in fifth. Biondi's on the outside in sixth, followed next by Your Mission in seventh. Walk 'em Down is running in eighth. It's a break of 4 to Bert. And trailing the field is Dream Point in 10th. The quarter went in 24 and 3/5 seconds. Conquest taking the field up the backstretch, leading here by almost a length. Sir John is tracking in second. And then it is Curlin's Wisdom next in third, followed by Excursioniste in fourth. Action Jackson is in fifth. Biondi to his outside in sixth. Your Mission is down at the rail. Alongside is the first-time starter, Walk 'em Down. And at the back of the pack are Dream Point and Burt. Half mile in 49 and 4. Conquest continues to lead here by a length with Sir John still in second. Curlin's Wisdom is on the inside. Excursionist is on the outside. And then comes Action Jackson as they come off the turn and into the stretch. And Conquest is looking to steal it here. Conquest has a 3-length lead. Curlin's Wisdom driving in second. And then it is Sir John, Action Jackson out in the middle of the track. They are closing in on Conquest as we get closer to the finish. Here is Action Jackson to take it here. Action Jackson to win the Whitney Day Nightcap.
Action Jackson under Flavien Prat reeling in this 20-1 shot. It was on the front end.
Yeah, huge finish there by Action Jackson. Blinkers coming off today, settled nice, and finished with a flourish.
He did. I mean, that was a great race from Action Jackson. As far as our favorite goes, Your Mission, the 2-horse, he really got bottled up behind horses and wasn't able to get out any time until down the stretch.
This horse had a lot to do in the stretch, but you see those red silks on the outside? Hand ride from Flavien, and he's getting a lot more out of his mount here.
Yeah, he is. Finished beautiful. Looks like he can even go a little further than what he went today. An impressive win.
7-2 in the end. This one was 8-1 morning line, 20-1 shot underneath. And
should I say it?
They knew.
They knew.
They did.
They knew, Greg.
Well, yeah, Paulie, you mentioned this one.
He
said goodbye so far. He's cashing his ticket.
Oh, yeah, he's adios.
They left.
Not a surprise.
Yeah.
We have an inquiry on the board, by the way, involving your second and fourth place finishers. 4, 10, 6, 3. So the 10 and 3 both flashing on the board.
Yeah, so the 10 was on the lead the whole way around there. You know, he's getting a little tired at the end. Gary, he must have drifted one way or another. That must be what they're looking at.
We'll have to see a head-on.
I'll try and get a look at the head-on momentarily here.
It
does not involve your winner, though, so Action Jackson.
Love that name.
It is a good one.
Bruce Jackson,
and I love this rider, too. And I know Chad Brown likes him as well, and Jorge Abreu probably loves him also after this win. I hope you enjoyed our Whitney Day coverage. Life is good. Impressive. Can he get a mile and a quarter? We will find out. That's to come later in the year. What an upset in the Hambletonian. Cool Papa Bell, 50-1. Biggest payout ever. Saratoga Derby, nation's pride, turning the tables in that Caesars Saratoga Derby Invitational. And Life is Good. Too quick, gets to the front and able to hang on. We'll see at 1:30 on FS1 tomorrow, 1 on FS2.
Al Raj Farm has been an award-winning trendsetter in modern trotting for more than 4 decades. With world-class breeding nurseries in New York and Pennsylvania, Al Raj alumni include Millionaires, Fern, Muscles Marinara, Whiskey Tax, and Dewey Color in the line. The Al Raj Farm star-studded broodmare band features world champions Ice Attraction and Perfect Alliance, along with Cena, who produced the $480,000 sales